The brain is wider than the sky. For put them side by side, the one the other will contain, with ease and you beside. The brain is deeper than the sea, for hold them blue to blue. The one the other will absorb, as sponges buckets do. The brain is just the weight of God, heft them pound for pound, and they will differ, if they do, a syllable from sound.
Will you tell me what's so great about jogging? I'm dying here.
Hey, you're in the right place for it.
Yeah, I guess I am.
Sir, Janice?
Nick Hoffman, what are you doing here?
I work here. At Cornell.
Oh.
Physics department.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm over at Ithaca, associate English professor striving towards tenure.
Oh, God, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
How have you been?
Good, good. I'm writing a book and having these awful headaches lately, and the running sometimes helps.
You're writing a whole book?
Yeah, a whole book.
What's it about?
You really want to know?
Yeah.
Well, it's about the poetry of Emily Dickinson.
Was she published?
She's not alive, Nick. She died in 1886.
Oh, yeah.
And,
no, I remember.
And she didn't publish. She kept her poetry in drawers, and she wanted it burned after she died. She didn't want. She wrote for personal purposes, not for publishing.
That's weird. What's the point of that? And how could you and I survive under rules like that? Publish or perish, right?
Yeah.
We didn't leave each other on the easiest of terms.
No, we didn't.
Say, I last time I remember seeing you was at Wild Bash at Janie's pool party. Remember that?
Oh my God. Yeah.
You were on the high board. Everybody was chanting, "Jump, jump, jump."
I remember. I was terrified. And I climbed down and everybody laughed at me.
That was kind of cruel, wasn't it?
Yeah, not as cruel as what came after.
Yeah? What was that?
Of course you don't remember.
So I heard you ended up in a convent somewhere and became a nun. Is that true?
Yes, that's true.
So, you haven't changed at all. You look just like I remember you.
Yeah, thanks. I feel like shit.
You just look a little bit tired. So, are you married? Kids or anything?
No, divorced.
What happened? So, you have any kids? Sarah, we have to get together sometime, catch up. Where do you live?
Out in the country a ways. It's kind of a ways out, yeah. Yeah.
I live right around the corner. You should come over sometime. You can have a cold drink, catch up. There's a lot of things that I really want to say to you that I've wanted to say for a long time. Just come over.
Look, Nick, it was really, really great to see you again. So we should catch up over lunch sometime, okay?
Wait. What's your cell phone number? You can text.
Email me at sarahstarlight@ithaca.edu.
Ithaca.edu. Sarah.
Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves in immortality. We slowly drove. He knew no haste, and I had put away my labor and my leisure too for his civility. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, a cornice in the ground. Since then, is centuries, and yet feels shorter than the day I first surmised the horses' heads were towards eternity.
Could this be true?
I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Holy Catholic Church, the communion of the saints, the forgiveness of the sins, the resurrection of the body and life everlasting.
Blanco, guess who I saw today? Oh.
Nikki, I'm afraid I have some bad news. Your dad had a serious stroke last night. He's in the hospital here in Tampa. He's in some kind of coma now and really can't seem to move or speak or anything. It's so awful. I can't stop crying. There's no need for you to come down. I guess not yet. The doctors assure me that he has a really good chance at least a partial recovery, and the nurses are being very good. And oh, Nikki, what if he doesn't recognize me? What if he's a vegetable? What would I do? Well, what can we do? Call me when you get the chance and we'll talk more. Oh, and don't forget to water the plants and feed the chickens. We're so grateful you can take care of the house. You're such a good boy. I love you, Nikki. Call me soon.
Stroke.
Come on, Miss Emily. Talk to me.
I felt a cleaving in my mind, as if my brain had split. I tried to match it seam by seam, but could not make them fit. The thought behind I strove to join unto the thought before, but sequence ravelled out of reach, like balls upon a floor.
Good morning. Good morning. Come on, sleepyhead. You slept all through the night. You must be hungry. Come on. Oh. Come on. Oh, you've forgotten to breathe, haven't you? Oh, it's all right. Mommy will fix you. Here. There. Is that better?
See? It's funny, isn't it? This looks interesting. Blanco, check this out.
Itself will give you the identity. You have everything that you want. So all the matrices have this kind of a relationship, but the problem is there's only 3 of them, and we can't handle the beta. So what we do is we go to 4x4 matrices, which is elegant in itself because in special relativity you have X, Y, Z, and P, 4 dimensions, and here we have 4x4s. These will operate on column vectors that have 4 slots, 4 vectors. We call those 4 vectors, or 4 spinners. You could say maybe 4 spinner.
Carl Sagan's house. Away from everybody. But think about the coolness of contacting aliens. What a view. God, wouldn't it be great to have my own television show to explain the universe to the world? It's too bad he didn't get it right. Romantic nonsense, really. All that pale blue dot crap. I wonder if even he could imagine what I now know to be true, an infinitely flat, exponentially expanding universe that totally prevents our contact with other life forms. Everything is flying away from everything else too fast. Maybe someday I'll be remembered as well as he is. If he were here now, I'd explain to him how in 1 trillion years there'll be nothing to see when we look out into space. All will be uniformly cold, dark, and very empty. But then I'd cheer him up to explain that with the fluctuation in the zero-energy space-time blanket, the universe will start all over again with another Big Bang. It's a kind of magic. Something from nothing. Yes, that's the deal I'm betting on. Once I expand and correct the current math proofs and publish, I'll be a legend too. Dad, you thought I'd never amount to much. When I got into Cornell, you said it was probably a legacy admission. I walk by your photograph on the so-called Hall of Famous faculty members practically every day. But I'll be bigger. You'll see. Don't die. Don't die. Not yet. Hi, Sarah. This is Nick. I was calling to tell you that it was really great to see you today. I was wondering if you wanted to take a hike with me in Sherman State Park tomorrow. Or just the lower trails. I just heard from my mom that my dad's in Florida in the hospital and he had a coma because he had a stroke. He's really sick and he might die. I don't know who else to talk to or to call. So that's why I called you. You remember him, don't you? Because he remembers you. He definitely remembers you. He thought you were a really good influence on me. He thought you were pretty.
No, I'm serious. They didn't give me detention because everybody thought I was such a good kid. They just thought, oh, well, St. Sarah, she couldn't possibly do it. But yeah, I'm the one who totally drew that on the bathroom wall.
I knew it. Everybody did think you were so good. I mean, you were, but...
Well, yeah, but you know, every once in a while, you have to be rebellious. I mean, I was a kid, too. I had feelings.
That was the first time I saw you. When you were doing your shenanigans in the bathroom.
What were you doing looking in the bathroom?
I wasn't looking in the bathroom. I saw you come out.
I was doing
I saw you come out.
Oh, okay. And you just saw the look on my face and thought, oh, she did something bad.
I saw what was in your hand.
Oh. All right.
Hey, look.
Are you serious? Really?
Swings, slides.
Yeah, okay, fine.
It's got everything.
Fine, I'll race you. Yeah, but, you know, everything you've told me about your family and catching up like that, I can't believe that happened to your father.
It's still a shock. I thought he was in good health. But thanks for coming out. Seriously, like, I didn't know who to call. Really appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm having a good day, no headaches, and I'm actually glad you called too. I needed somebody to talk to.
So that must make us friends again, right?
Yeah, sure. But really though, how is your dad doing?
About the same. He's still full on coma, can't breathe. He's got this feeding tube stuck down his throat. My mom can't handle it at the hospital, so she's at home. It's just a mess.
Well, when are you gonna go down to see him? He's gotta be so lonely, Nick.
Why would I do that? He can't see, can't hear. He wouldn't even know I'm there. Besides, my mom will tell me when it's the right time to go down.
Well, and tell me about your work at Cornell.
My main field is particle physics. Some say that I'm a quantum mechanic. So if you have any atoms that need any working on, I'm the guy for the job. Good line.
Yeah, totally great line. So, what do you like about it?
It's the greatest puzzle of all time. It might sound strange to some people, but what I'm actually trying to do is figure out why there's something rather than nothing. You know, how can something spring from nothing? The origins of the universe. The Big Bang?
Particle physics. Well, I must seem like a completely different world with Emily Dickinson and poetry and all that.
Yeah, you were talking about her the other day. So what does she have to offer the world? Is she famous?
Well, it's complicated, but basically she deals with the idea of, is there an eternity? And if there is, what does that mean in relationship to God and immortality? And, you know, it's kind of the same questions that you're interested in, except she uses the language of poetry instead of the language of science.
Good luck with that. Hey, did you come up with any answers?
A few. Would you care to read some?
Will there be a test?
Isn't there always a test?
Yeah, I'll pass, if you don't mind.
Well, then I won't mind if you do pass.
What?
Never mind. Not everyone's gonna understand it. Come on, let's go take a walk. Quantum mechanic, huh? Does that line actually work?
That line has worked before.
Shut up, it doesn't.
I swear.
No, it hasn't.
It's a good line.
It is not. It's terrible. What kind of wrenches do you use?
Oh, come on.
Is there a warranty?
Yeah.
Extended? All right. I'm sorry. Could you please turn your cell phones off today? All right. I can hardly hear myself think. You've had a week to go over this poem. Let's hear it one more time. I felt a funeral in my brain, and mourners to and fro kept treading, till it seemed that sense was breaking through. And when they were all seated, service like a drum kept beating, till I thought my mind was going numb. And then I heard them lift a box and creak across my soul with those same boots of lead again. And then space began to toll as if the heavens were a bell and being but an ear, and I and silence and some strange race wrecked solitary here. And then a plank in reason broke and dropped down and down and hit a world at every plunge and finished knowing then. It's quite a noisy poem, don't you think? Despite its obvious funerary tone, some believe that this is actually an optimistic poem, that the poet arrives at an epiphany of sorts. Do you agree with this?
Well, no, because it's about a funeral, like about death.
So, the poet's death?
I don't know, it could be.
I think they dropped her coffin as they were carrying it to the graveyard and she tumbled out. Pretty gross, if you ask me. I think she was still alive when they buried her. That's what she found out at the end when she wakes up. That's what she finishes knowing. I read somewhere that in those days they were super afraid of being buried alive. So some coffins were constructed with a bell system that would ring above the ground if they woke up.
Oh, please.
What?
Maybe it's about what she was experiencing at someone else's funeral. She's not dying, but obviously suffering during the stages of the service and the burial. Yeah, I think she has some kind of epiphany at the end, some kind of acceptance of what death means.
Yeah, and it's only when the coffin is in the ground that she breaks through her grief to accept the person's death.
So the poet isn't dying, is that it?
I'd say she's vicariously experiencing her own death by observing another.
I still think she's in the coffin. And alive.
Well, who's right, Professor? Whose death is it?
Her baby.
But Emily Dickinson didn't have a child, did she? How could that be? Professor Janice, you're creeping us out. Are you all right?
No, I'm not all right. Dear Miss Janus, based on the MRI recently performed on your brain, it is clear that you have the signs of a type of brain cancer called glioblastoma. However, to be sure, a biopsy is necessitated. You will be sedated and a stereotactic needle will be inserted into brain through the small hole drilled into your skull to remove a sample of brain tissue in the suspect area. The sample is then viewed under a microscope to determine if it is benign or cancerous and of what type.
So that's it. The biopsy confirmed it. Cancer of the brain, stage 2. I just started chemo. God, am I so tired.
Oh, I'm tired too. I'm trying to sweat out this hangover. Oh, you just said cancer, didn't you? Sarah, I'm sorry. What's the prognosis?
Not good.
Brain. Cancer of the brain. That's gotta suck. What kind is it? Did they even tell you?
It's called a glioblastoma.
That doesn't sound good at all. I'm here for you though, Sarah. If you need anything.
Yeah, well, mainly I'm just worried about finishing my book.
Yeah, you keep mentioning that book. Tell me about it.
It's on the poetry of immortality of Emily Dickinson.
Poetry of immortality. There's no such thing as immortality. Even the universe will die. But what's her argument?
It's complicated. But basically, she also questions immortality's existence. Or if it does exist, what would that mean? Anyway, the writing is really, really dense and it's tiring me out and whatever. So how is your something from nothing problem coming along?
Okay, I guess. Atomic particles, quarks, bosons on one level, the universe, multiverse, infinity on the other. Now, what the space telescopes are showing us, it's like the more we learn, the less we know. Sometimes I just think that our brains aren't evolved enough to understand the nothing that we've come from, and the nothing we're eventually going to move to.
Nothing. That's where you think we're headed, to nothing?
Yeah, I can show you my math equations if you'd like, Sarah. They'll eventually prove it.
Then I have to take your word on trust.
Yeah, that's the way it's always been. The enlightened scientists explaining for the masses through measurable facts and logic the truths of existence. God even knows how your Emily Dickinson knew anything about it. Didn't you tell me she never even left her house? Now, I'm really into Hugh Everett's multiverse theory. You know, Sarah, our brains are the most organized mechanisms in the universe. At least we're evolved enough now to understand it. And the way I see it, the universe is struggling through us to understand itself. Or the universe's brain. Well, Carl Sagan said that, but I couldn't agree more. You know, I hope to get my first paper published soon.
What? Ego. You will save the world by explaining it away. So, you're saying poets and philosophers, thinkers, creators of all kinds, scholars, none of them count. That if you're saying I've wasted my life in the humanities.
Sarah.
No. I'm gonna be dead soon, Nico. So by all means, don't keep me in suspense about your ultimate truths. You know, the universe's brain? Really? You haven't changed a bit.
Sarah, look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult your discipline.
No. I have an assignment for you, my very ignorant
an assignment.
friend. Yes. Here. Read some of her poems. I've marked the ones I've been studying. I think you'll find that Emily Dickinson knows way more about the universe than you give her credit for.
Sarah.
I call home! You're not afraid, are you?
Didn't this girl do anything else with her life? It was not death, for I stood up, and all the dead lie down. It was not night, for all the bells put out their tongues for noon. Okay. Got that? She's not dead, because she can stand. She can hear the noontime bell. The clappers are bell tongues. See? Blanco, that's a metaphor. Aren't I smart? It was not frost, for on my flesh I felt Sirocco's crawl, nor fire just my marble feet could keep a chancel cool. Google says Siroccos are like hot winds, and chancel is that marble space in a church altar. So yeah, that would make your bare feet cold, right? And yet it tasted like them all. Something tasted like death, night, frost, and fire, but was not any of those. What is this? What is this something? The figures I have seen set orderly for burial reminded me of mine. So she's been to burials that remind her of her own. We've all done that. It's creepy to see dead people. but mostly chaos, stopless cool, without a chance or spar, or even a report of land to justify despair. Mostly she feels like she's shipwrecked in a cold, endless space of reality. Totally without hope of being rescued. And so she's so far away from everything that she's numb to even the possibility of seeing land. How could she know that? She was no scientist. Is it a lucky guess? Is some kind of intuition or something? No, it's ridiculous. It's made up. Where's the proof? Show your work, Emily. Show your work. Nap time. As I've shown in this series of introductory lectures, that it is credible, following Einstein's relativity principles, as well as our modern theories of gravity and quantum mechanics, using Dirac's equation, in a flat inflationary universe with zero total energy, matter-antimatter symmetry might cause this nothing to break out into something. This, of course, goes against the laws of conservation of energy, but we must be willing to go where the science leads us. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, you've done an admirable job, Professor Hoffman. But will there ever be a practical way to apply these theories to everyday life? For example, will it allow us to someday cure all cancers? Since the genesis of every cancer is one cell seemingly out of nowhere mutating into an insidious form.
If you buy into the multiverse theory, how does time travel sound to you? Or casting ourselves away from a dying sun?
Maybe wormholes are the cancer cells of the universe, since you say eventually we're all going to be swallowed up by them. Or is that too metaphorical for you?
That's poetry, not science.
What about now? How can we use this stuff? Can it help us fight global warming? Isn't geoengineering the Earth's climate a physics challenge too? I gotta live in this world, you know. And what's wrong with poetry?
If you have to ask those questions, you're in the wrong field. In the wrong course, I might add. Purposes come later, way later. You know, data through research is what we're concerned with now, and probably will be for a long, long time.
Will we ever find out what dark matter is?
Of course.
Will we ever find out what dark energy is?
Of course, given enough time.
Will we go in a black hole?
Maybe.
How?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know is not the answer to that question. You'll never make it in the academic world with that attitude. Tell me I haven't wasted my time and money on a slacker. You should have stayed with Sarah. Now she had a head on her shoulders, not up her backside.
Paul Dirac here, Mr. Hoffman. Do you really understand my famous equation? I hear you are a fraud. Tell me, are you?
Nicholas, stop playing with the cat and do your homework. Better get busy.
Is the universe immortal, Nick? Am I?
Where do we go after we die? Where will you go?
Where will I go, Nick? I did tell you that I have cancer, didn't I? That I'll probably die? But you seem not to care at all. What's wrong with you? You're such a nincompoop.
What's wrong with you? You're such a nincompoop. 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 Nincompoop.
So it's been a week. Did you look at any of the poems?
Yes, I did. But I had to use Google a lot.
And?
They made me feel strange.
Oh, how so?
Well, and sometimes they made logical, even scientific sense. Other times I couldn't make heads or tails of them. There's also a lot of God talk, which I'm not very fond of.
So then who made the universe, smart guy?
No thing. It just happened. Do you think this is going to be kind of a challenge for you in your condition?
You think this is gonna kill me? I'm not dead yet.
Wait up.
Bet you wish you had some of that God talk now.
Hey, I told you I wasn't in the best shape for climbing. You see these rocks here? You know they don't even exist for one of the smallest subatomic particles, a neutrino? Yeah. So small, almost all they encounter is empty space. If you held your hand up to the sun, for a second, 1 billion neutrinos would pass through it. Do you know that if you were to condense down all the particles, the Empire State Building, every one of them, all the atoms, you would get a little piece of matter about the size of a grain of rice. It would weigh 365,000 tons. Isn't that amazing? If you condense down all the atoms in a puny human body, you'd get an infinitesimal bit of nothing. That's how big it would be, practically nothing, but it would weigh about as much as you do. So the seed of the Big Bang is incomprehensibly heavy.
I'm starting to feel right now.
Particle physics teaches us that solidity is just an illusion. It's a Darwinian adaptation that allows organisms to adapt to the world that they live in. And without electrons repelling each other, nothing would feel solid. Hey, did you know that the atoms in our body, the carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, they're all from the heart of a star that exploded billions of years ago? Stardust. That's what we're all actually made out of. Isn't that cool? Well, Carl Sagan said that, but I definitely agree.
Oh, you're such a scientist.
He was the greatest.
I prefer to believe that the Lord created man from the dust and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
See, that's just God talk.
And the man became a living being.
You know, if the universe really is infinite, there is an infinite number of universes, and there's an infinite variation of every one of those universes too. So like this universe, we're normal, right? There could be another one where you have 3 arms, or our hands are small or something like that. But there's an infinite number of variations of those universes. So like when you just stumbled there, there was a universe that you didn't just stumble. There's a universe that I was wearing a red shirt instead of a plaid shirt today. Universe so huge that anything that you could possibly imagine that could happen is happening somewhere, infinitely. You know, anything not forbidden by the laws of logic. Here, let me help you. All right.
I believe that the universe was created under different principles, that it was created by a kind and compassionate being out of love who allows us to evolve in kindness and compassion and is looking out for us.
Sarah, you really believe in that bullshit? The supernatural crap? Jesus rising from the dead? Lazarus? The actual human son of an anthropomorphized God? Come on. You believe that? You're too smart for that.
Is it any stranger than your multiverse bullshit? You're telling me that there isn't a Sarah out there that's not dying of malignant brain cancer? That there's a multitude of Sarahs out there whose babies didn't die, whose husbands didn't leave them? You've got it. You've got the equation reversed, genius boy. It's something into nothing. My baby was alive and then she was dead. And my husband was here and then he was gone. Can you tell me where they went with your soulless equations? Your godless equations? Infinity! That's your answer. What possible use is this for me in this lifetime? Nick, what? You and I, you stupid, ignorant, foolish boy, we will never agree. Let's find this out now.
I swear to God, Nick, you come one step closer and I'll jump.
The soul's distinct connection with immortality is best disclosed by danger or quick calamity. Like lightning on a landscape exhibits sheets of place not yet suspected. But for flash and click. That is just...
My life closed twice before its close. It yet remains to see if immortality unveil a third event to me, so huge, so hopeless to conceive, as these that twice befell. Parting is all we know of heaven, and all we need of hell.
Empty my heart of thee, erase the roots. No tree the heavens stripped, eternity's vast pocket picked.
Hello? Mom?
Nikki, what's wrong? Why are you calling? Is something wrong with the house?
No. The house, the chickens, the garden, everything's fine. I just wanted to call. I just wanted to hear your voice.
My voice?
Yeah.
Well, here it is. He's the
Mom.
same. Full
Mom.
coma.
Mom.
I'll call you when things change.
Mom. Where do we go when we die?
You're a scientist. You know better than most. When you're dead, you're dead. There's nothing more, sweetheart. Now get some rest. I'll call you when I hear something.
How much air can I put in this? So what does she have to offer the world? Is she famous? Our brains are the most organized mechanisms in the universe. And the way I see it, the universe is struggling through us to understand itself. If you condense down all the atoms in a puny human body, you'd get an infinitesimal bit of nothing. So the seed of the Big Bang is incomprehensibly heavy. Stardust. That's what we're all actually made out of. Isn't that cool? You really believe in that bullshit? That supernatural crap? Jesus rising from the dead? Lazarus? Come on. You believe that?
hurts.
As if the sea should part and show a further sea, and that a further and the three, but a presumption be, of periods of seas and visited of shores, themselves the verge of seas to be, eternity is those. Damn, there it is again. How could she know that? Sir Starlight. I heard a fly buzz when I died.
Stillness in the room was like the stillness in the air between the leaves of storm. For that last onset, when the king be witnessed in the room, and then the windows failed, and then I could not see to see. Sarah, for the love of God, what are you doing?
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Mom, God, please forgive me.
Sarah? Sarah?
Sarah.
What you believe, so strange.
Are you thinking of killing yourself? Me? Listen, okay? I'm a scientist. I just go where the evidence leads me, okay? You study words and I study numbers. It's what I do. Why do you think Emily Dickinson and the Bible have all the answers? For Christ's sake, put the gun down. I came over here to help you. You don't actually want to kill me, do you?
My life has stood, a loaded gun in corners, till a day the owner passed, identified, and carried me away.
And now we roam in sovereign woods, and now we hunt the doe.
And every time I speak for him, the mountains straight reply.
To foe of his I'm deadly foe, none stir the second time, on whom I lay a yellow eye or an emphatic thumb.
Though I than he may longer live, he longer must than I, for I have but the power to kill, without the power to die.
Remember when we went fishing? You caught that fish and you stood up and it pulled you into the water. I had to jump in after you. Sarah, remember all the times, the great times that we had? You remember the first night that we had sex? Sarah, you remember?
I remember. In what universe did you care? Don't you exist in other universes?
I'm Nick. I'm just a person. to make mistakes. Killing me, where's the truth in that? There'll be no truth in that for either of us, will there? You're alive right now, and I'm alive in this very moment, right? At least those are two facts we can agree on. I don't want to go. Sarah, I'm afraid.
So am I. It's the biggest problem, isn't it? Our lives are so fragile, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Why are they so fragile? Where do we go when we die? Why do we die?
It's all really hard to explain.
Let's try. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want.
The telomere is on our genes fray. Oxidation literally burns us up.
He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters.
And our heart's only good for about 3.5 billion beats.
He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake.
Disease, war, famine, and death is inevitable.
And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me.
And the sun turns into a red giant, collapses into a white dwarf.
Thou preparest a table in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runneth over.
And ultimately, it's the empty, cold space, lifeless.
Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
But maybe by then we'll have proven the multiverse hypothesis. And in a sense, we can live forever.
Thanks for staying with me, Nico. How's your father doing?
He's conscious. My mom wants me to come see him.
Well, of course. You're his son. He loves you.
Hey, I memorized a poem for you. Yeah, you probably recognize it. The heart asks pleasure first, and then excuse from pain. And then the little anodynes that deafen suffering.
And then to go to sleep. And then, should it be the will of its inquisitor, the privilege to die. I want.
I want, it pleaded all its life. I want, was chief it said, when skill entreated it the last, and when so newly dead. I could not deem it late to hear that single steadfast sigh the lips had placed as with a please. Toward eternity. 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 Toward eternity.
Our lives are so fragile, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Why are they so fragile? Where do we go when we die? Why do we die?
It's all really hard to explain.
Let's try. Let's try. Let's try.